Pam Bondi's confirmation hearing was supposed to be straightforward. A veteran prosecutor with years of courtroom experience, she entered the Senate chamber promising independence, integrity, and loyalty to the American people. Her opening words were rehearsed and polished, designed to reassure the room that she was ready for the nation's highest law enforcement post. She spoke about her long career, her oath to the Constitution, and her determination to do the right thing. But as the questioning unfolded, the cracks began to show. What started as a routine hearing quickly turned into something much more revealing. Senator Chris Coons zeroed in on the one issue that matters more than any resumed line or polished speech: whether the next Attorney General would have the backbone to stand up to power.
Then candidate Trump, that he would use the department to target his political adversaries, or that he might interfere with prosecution. What would you do if your career DOJ prosecutors came to you with a case to prosecute, grounded in the facts and law, but the White House directs you to drop the case?
Senator, if I thought that would happen, I would not be sitting here today. That will not happen, will not happen. Every case will be prosecuted based on the facts and the law that is applied in good faith, period. Politics have got to be taken out of the system.
I agree with you.
This department has been weaponized for years and years and years,
But let
and
me,
it has
if
to
I
stop.
might, thank you. Let me, if I might, Madam Attorney General, refer you back to Senator Durbin's opening comments about previous attorneys general, our former colleague, Jeff Sessions, Bill Barr. I don't think it's credible to say that it may never happen that the president-elect would direct an unethical or illegal act. I think both of those attorneys general found themselves crosswise with the then president by doing things he didn't welcome or approve of. Just answer the question for me, if you would. I know you may not expect it. I know you wouldn't have accepted this nomination if you thought it possible. But let's imagine that once again, President-elect Trump issues a directive or order to you or to the FBI director that is outside the boundaries of ethics or law. What will you do?
Senator, I will never speak on a hypothetical, especially one saying that the president would do something illegal. What I can tell you is my duty, if confirmed as the Attorney General, will be to the Constitution and the United States of America. And the most important oath, part of that oath that I will take, are the last four words: so help me God.
Given the importance of that oath, I hope you can understand the importance of repeated questions from some of us about the importance of having independence in the Department of Justice. It has a long tradition of independent special prosecutors, especially to handle high-profile or often political cases. If you got credible evidence of a criminal violation by a White House official, including even the president, would you bring in a special prosecutor?
Senator, that's a hypothetical. I can tell you what I do know is special prosecutors have been abused in the past on both sides. We have seen that for many, many years. They have cost the taxpayers countless dollars, countless. And I will look at each situation on a case-by-case basis and consult the appropriate career ethics officials within the department to make that decision.
Attorney General, do you think special counsels need to be confirmed by the Senate?
I will follow the law and I will consult with the appropriate ethics officials regarding the law. Right now, they do not need to be Senate confirmed, of course.
But you did sign an 11th Circuit brief arguing that they should be.
I will follow the law, Senator. That's why I said that.
Understood, but I was just getting to the clarity about the difference between a
Absolutely.
position you've advocated and what the current law is. Thank you for that. Look, bluntly, to me, refusing to answer a hypothetical when there is clear and concrete previous history raises some concerns for me. I think Chris Wray has done an outstanding job as FBI director at avoiding political pressure. And although he was chosen by President Trump, he's being driven out so that he can be replaced. My perception, I've not yet met with Mr. Patel, by a loyalist who has publicly said he will do what the president asks him. Given that Attorney General Barr was asked to go find evidence of election interference and improprieties, went and looked for the evidence and said, I can't find any, and was then dismissed. I'm just going to ask you one last time. Can you clarify for me that in following ethics and the law, you'd be willing to resign if ordered to do something improper?
Senator, I wouldn't work at a law firm. I wouldn't be a prosecutor. I wouldn't be attorney general. If anyone asked me to do something improper and I felt I had to carry that out, of course I would not do that. That's one of the main things you learn when you're a young prosecutor, is to do the right thing. And I believe that has continued with me throughout my very long career.
As we discussed, protecting American invention and innovation, American intellectual property, is a real concern of mine and of several others on this committee. I look forward to talking.
Would she resign rather than carry out an improper order? Would she draw a firm line in the sand when loyalty to the law clashed with loyalty to the president? The answers Bondi gave, and more importantly, the ones she avoided, spoke volumes to it. First, her responses sounded strong. I would never do anything improper, she said. I wouldn't be a prosecutor. I wouldn't be attorney general if I thought I had to do that. These words echoed the values every prosecutor claims to live by. But when Coons pressed harder, asking directly whether she would resign if ordered to cross the line, Bondi slipped into something softer. She talked about her values as a young lawyer, about the importance of ethics, about always trying to do the right thing. What she didn't say was the one sentence that mattered most. Yes, I would resign. That omission wasn't just a detail. It was the entire point. Because this wasn't some far-fetched hypothetical. Coons wasn't inventing imaginary scenarios. He was pointing at history, recent history. Attorneys general before her had faced these exact tests. Presidents had pressured them to protect friends, punish rivals, and manipulate justice. Some refused and lost their jobs. Others complied and lost their integrity. This was not theory. It was precedent. And Bondi's refusal to commit exposed a dangerous weakness. The pattern became clearer as the hearing continued. Coons shifted the focus to special prosecutors, one of the few tools available to protect independence in politically sensitive cases. If a White House official were credibly accused of wrongdoing, would she appoint an outside counsel to ensure the investigation was unbiased? Once again, the answer should have been simple. A firm yes would have sent a powerful signal that she valued independence over politics. Instead, Bondi downplayed the idea. She claimed special counsels had been abused in the past, that they were costly, that they wasted taxpayer money. She promised to review situations case by case and consult ethics officials. But she never offered the reassurance that, when it mattered most, she would choose independence. This wasn't just an abstract debate. Bondi herself had once signed a legal brief suggesting that special prosecutors should be confirmed by the Senate, a move that would have made them stronger, more legitimate, and harder to dismiss. That was her position then. But in the hearing, confronted with her own record, she brushed it aside. I will follow the current law, she said. It sounded safe, even responsible. But the truth was clear. Her principles had shifted. She no longer stood by the idea of strengthening oversight. She was now committed only to following the rules as they existed in that moment. Even if those rules left the system vulnerable, what emerged was a pattern of polished evasions. Each time the questioning touched power, Bondi softened her stance. She leaned on phrases like, that will not happen, or I will follow the law. She promised to consult ethics officials. She insisted she would always try to do the right thing. But the one thing she never did was commit herself publicly to walking away if forced to choose between law and loyalty. That hesitation matters because history shows that pressure always comes. Leaders always face moments when the law collides with politics. In those moments, there is no room for caveats or soft phrases. There is only one choice: to uphold the law or to serve power. And if the Attorney General hesitates, if they leave room for ambiguity, the system breaks. Independence dies not in one dramatic moment, but in small silences and evasions. Bondi's hearing became a case study in how polished testimony can hide uncertainty. On the surface, she said all the right things. She spoke of protecting intellectual property. She emphasized her oath to the Constitution. She promised to serve the people, not political interests. But beneath those words was a refusal to make the commitments that truly define independence. She would not say she'd resign. She would not say she'd appoint a special prosecutor if the White House itself was implicated. She would not say where the boundaries of her loyalty ended. Senator Coons tried again. He reminded her that previous attorneys general had lost their positions for choosing law over loyalty. He pointed out that this was not a matter of speculation, but of precedent. He asked her plainly, one more time, whether she would resign if ordered to do something improper. And once again, Bondi offered polished but incomplete answers. She spoke about her values. She spoke about her faith. She repeated that she would never do anything improper. But she did not say the one word that mattered. Yes. That silence is the most important thing to remember. For most prosecutors, the answer would have been instinctive. Their training, their oath, their career all point to the same conclusion. You walk away rather than cross the line. The fact that Bondi could not say it revealed that her loyalty, at least in that moment, was uncertain. And this is where the hearing moved from individual performance to institutional danger. The Attorney General is not just another member of the cabinet. It is the guardian of justice, the firewall between law and politics. Without independence, the Department of Justice becomes a weapon. Without clarity, the rule of law collapses into rule by power. Every senator knew this. Every viewer watching could sense it. And Bondi's refusal to commit made it painfully clear how fragile that firewall could be. The implications stretch far beyond one hearing. They point to a pattern seen across history. Moments when institutions fail not because of open defiance, but because of quiet hesitation. Leaders don't always betray their oaths with dramatic acts. Sometimes, they betray them with silence, with soft answers, with evasions that avoid conflict in the moment but erode the system over time. Bondi's testimony was a reminder of that danger. It's also a reminder of what true leadership looks like. Independence isn't about polished words in front of cameras. It's about clarity when the pressure is unbearable. It's about saying, without hesitation, that if forced to choose between loyalty to power and loyalty to the Constitution, the law wins every time. That's what the Senate was looking for. That's what the public deserved. And that's what Bondi failed to provide. So what's the takeaway? Pam Bondi told the Senate her client would be the American people. She spoke of ethics, of doing the right thing, of protecting innovation and intellectual property. But when the questions turned to the heart of the matter, when independence and accountability were on the line, she chose not to commit. She gave us polished phrases, but no guarantees. And in a role where hesitation can destroy trust, that silence is everything. This hearing wasn't just about one nominee. It was about the future of justice itself. If the person entrusted to uphold the law won't say they'll walk away when pressured to break it, the system is already at risk. Independence dies not with a bang, but with carefully chosen words that never quite say yes. And that's why this matters. Because the Department of Justice must serve the people, not the powerful. And when a nominee refuses to draw boundaries, the people lose their protector. Bondi's performance showed how fragile that line has become. She promised strength, but her silence revealed weakness. And that weakness, if left unchecked, could reshape the justice system itself. If you found this breakdown valuable, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with others who care about protecting independence in our justice system. The more people who understand what's at stake in these hearings, the harder it becomes for those in power to bend the system behind closed doors. And if you want to support fact-based, independent commentary that cuts through the noise, consider joining us on Patreon. Your support helps keep these deep dives alive and ensures we keep shining a light on the moments that matter most. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.